The woman stared in disbelief at the scene before her. This was her cherished son. She strained to lift the cabinet with all her might, praying in her heart that her son was still alive, but the spilled tomato juice reminded her he was gone. When her husband returned home and learned what had happened, he raged at her in anger, blaming her for failing to watch their son, even hurling harsh words that cut like knives. The once loving couple were now turned enemies. The woman also blamed herself for her son's death, while the man who'd lost his beloved child suffered no less. He spent each day gazing at his son's photos, overcome by grief, unable to hold back his tears as he looked. One day, just as the woman finished sorting her son's belongings, a knock came at the door. She opened it to find her husband there. To her surprise, the cold and distant man was unusually gentle today. She thought he had forgiven her, perhaps even wanted to have another child. Before she could dwell on it, her husband said he'd met her aunt on the street that day, and they'd had a nice chat. The woman was deeply confused. Her aunt had clearly been dead for over 30 years. How could her husband have met her? Just as she opened her mouth to tell him this, her husband asked if their son was in the bedroom, wanting to go see him. In that moment, the woman didn't know how to respond. Suddenly, another knock sounded at the door. When she heard her husband's voice outside, she was startled, puzzled. She turned to the living room to ask her husband what was happening, but the man who had been sitting there just moments ago had vanished without a trace. Nervous, she went to open the door. Her husband stormed in, cursing and complaining. Only then did the woman confirm this was her real husband. The next day, the woman found her best friend and told her about the strange occurrences. Her friend suggested she visit the famous spiritual healer in town. The woman didn't believe in ghosts or superstitions, so she cut her friend off mid-sentence and turned to leave. But as she neared her home, she was shocked to see her family's cabinet standing in the street. She looked on in confusion. The next second, the cabinet began to shake, suddenly toppling to the ground, and behind it, two dark figures emerged. Terrified by their appearance, the woman raced back home. That night, an even more eerie thing occurred. While sleeping, the woman had a horrifying nightmare, but when she woke, she realized it hadn't been a dream at all. The terrifying scene was right before her eyes.